Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Today is Thursday, November 17th. It is 6:19 right now. Market's going to open in about 11 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and then we can get started. Just give me a few moments to finish updating things here, and we should be good to go. Good. Solid right here. All right, cool. So I got everything all set up right here. I'm gonna get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. So I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in. As people join in, I'm going to check to see the news for today. I believe there was news this morning. There was news at 5 and 5:30. So news at 5:30. Go ahead and mark that up real quick. News over here at 5 o'clock. And news over here at 5:30. All right, so not horrible. I mean, it's kind of spread out, so it's kind of annoying, but it's it'll do. So with that said, we have news we had news at 5 and 5:30, and then we have the Fed speaking today. We got Fed speaking at 6:15, 6:40. So we got news at 6:15, 6:40, 7:30, 7:40. A lot of Fed speakers today. So 6:15 and 6:30. I'm gonna mark that down first. So 6:15 right here. $6:15, 6:30, 6:40. So 6:40, 7:30. So it's kind of spread out. There's a lot of random news events. Not really random, but they're scheduled for today. So 6:15. They're just at weird times. 6:15, 6:40. There's nothing at 6:30. Okay. So 6:15, 6:40, 7:30, and 7:40. All right, hopefully we could find something in between here, because I'm not trying to trade around these like weird times. And I think that's it. All right, so I think that's it for now. Let's see who's here so far. Morning, Stern. Morning, Peter. Morning, Kenny. Morning, everybody. So if you guys took the CAD JPY position yesterday, unfortunately, the JPY has been moving weird this entire week. It's the same situation with the odd JPY position that we took. So unfortunately, it was ranging for a long time. It was ranging for about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 10 hours. It's a long time for it to range, especially for a JPY pair. And then it just ended up reversing and going all the way up during London session. This is the same thing that happened with odd JPY. It was kind of ranging for a bit. I thought this was a good position because price kept testing this area right here. And I was like, okay, if price is ranging right here, it's gonna have to break out one way or the other, right? And I figured it's probably gonna break to the downside because it's in such a strong downtrend. However, price did the opposite and went the other way. For this position here, I took this for a smaller risk because I kind of thought back to JPY, how the same situation played out, and it was literally the same situation. Price ranged for a bit, and then it ended up going the opposite way. So I might be careful with the JPY positions. Unfortunately, there was another trade for odd CHF, which I didn't call. I was going to call this one instead, but I didn't for some reason. I think it was just moving too slow when I saw it, or it was too far in the drawdown right here, which is why I didn't want to call it. Unfortunately, this is the one that actually hit. So what I might do moving forward with these Forex trades is I might just stick to the 4 hour, because there's a lot of noise on the 1 hour for this week. Or, I might just move away from the JPY positions, because the JPY positions are not moving smoothly at all. They've been kind of all over the place. Same with our odd JPY yesterday. It's kind of going back and forth. There's no smooth movements here. Our position yesterday hit stop loss, and then it came right back down in a profit. So it just might be not a good week for JPY, especially with a lot of the news coming out this week. So with that said, unfortunately, if you took the trade for CAD JPY that did hit stop loss, I'm down, I think, about 2 or 3% for this week on Forex, which is not horrible because it's only a $10,000 account. It's not very bad. US30, we're still doing good. So I'm going to be focused on this, and the market is going to open in about 5 minutes. So morning, Maria. Morning, Rashida. Morning, Jonathan. Morning, everybody. Morning, Kenny. All right, market's going to open in about 4 minutes. I've got news marked up over here. I'll go here to the clean chart, mark up market structure so that you guys can see how price is moving for today. So I've been in a pretty steady downtrend, but I wouldn't say smooth. It's just kind of a little bouncy. So per usual, I'm going to be looking for high level momentum scalps. High level momentum pivot scalps for the day. I'm trying to focus on just one strategy. The high level momentum pivot scalp kind of lines up with a lot of the other strategies. So that's what my main focus is. If I see anything else that looks really good, I'll probably take it as well. But I think for the most part, we're going to be focusing on the high level momentum scalp so that we can just focus on one strategy and we won't miss anything along the way. So as you guys can see, price has been in a constant downtrend for quite some time. Lots of liquidity sitting on the top side. So we'll see if price does swing up and knock them out. But price realistically is just ranging right now. As you guys can see, it's going sideways right down here. So not really too much going on over here. Sideways movement. We'll see what happens when the market opens shortly. So let me take a look at the overall bias real quick before market opens. So overall direction right here, retail sentiment is currently 63% short. So it's weakened quite a bit. It's still bearish. So we'll probably still be looking for some buys, but we're not going to be stuck on just buys for the day. So retail sentiment is 63% short. Looking at the fundamentals right now, currently down 331 points. It's been down for a while now. So we'll see where this goes. 4 hour trend is bullish. 1 hour trend is bearish. 30-minute trend is bearish as well. 15-minute trend is bearish. So it's pretty bearish for the most part. Short-term bias is going to be bearish. Long-term bias is still somewhat bullish, but for the most part, it looks like it's pretty bearish overall. So there we go. Retail sentiment is 63% short. Fundamentals are down 300 points. 4 hour is bullish. Let me check it again. So it's bullish, but it's starting to swing down. So it's going to swing down at some point. Everything else is bearish. So 1 hour is bearish, 30 minutes bearish, 15 minutes bearish, 10 minutes bearish. We'll probably be fine looking for sells. I'm not going to be set on just one direction, but we'll see what the trend gives us for today. So if we do get a strong sell signal, that would technically be the breakout. Something to look out for. Market's going to open in about 40 seconds here, guys. So possibly looking for a sell here on the breakout. For the breakout here, I don't know if I'll be taking the full move, because if you mark it up right here, you can see that it's going to have to pass through it's going to be out in the open space. So this is one thing that I don't like. I like taking trades when when price is moving within, market structure. So if you're to get a sell right here, say if I get a sell like way up here, right? This would be okay because you're going to be within market structure, meaning there's price has been tested this area already, right? If you get an entry that's like way down here, this is where it becomes risky because price needs to go and test new structure down here. So it's going to have to knock out all the lows before it gets to this point. And this point is past those lows. So it might be due for, reversal or retracement before it even gets to that point. We have a possible buy entry here for the breakout. If this closes as a strong green candle, this would technically be the breakout. We have a buy signal right here. So we're technically looking for a buy here if you're looking for the original breakout requirements. Overall bias here is bullish. So I mean bearish. So I'm not sure if I would want to take it. However, they are kind of mixed. Long-term bias is still bullish with a 4-hour trend, while the short-term is all bearish. Also, the thing that you want to keep in mind is that there's news right here. So this might be considered a risky entry. So we'll see where this goes. If it does close as a breakout, I'll mark it up. I'm probably not going to take this trade because there's a lot of red flags right here. Another news price right here as well. And this might be a fake out. So this might just come up slightly and then it might just come right back down. So that's something that you want to be careful for, if and when you decide to take these types of trades. So this right here would technically be the breakout. As I mentioned, I'm not taking this trade because of the obvious reasons. Price is right next to a news price right here, which is an area of manipulation. If you guys are not familiar with these horizontal lines that go left to right, these are areas where manipulation tends to happen. So like one thing that can happen here is price can just wick off this structure right here and come back down, right? So that's what I don't want to get caught in. However, this is the breakout. So if you guys are in this position, this is a breakout. If you are in it, I do recommend moving your stop loss and profit, whenever possible. Right here, the same situation that I just mentioned, price is wicking directly off the horizontal line is what I was worried about. This doesn't necessarily mean it's going to stay that way. The next candle can come down. So there's a couple scenarios that can play out here. Price can come up, wick off the structure, retrace a little bit and come right back up. That could happen too, right? So the reason why I don't take trades here is because there's a lot of uncertainty. You don't know if this is going to happen or if this is going to happen, right? Like you're kind of stuck in a hard place right here because, you don't really have certainty in what direction price is going to go, because this could really go either way. This can either come up, go straight to TP, or it can just stick right here and go sideways for a bit before it decides to choose one direction or the other. So not in this position, I'm just following it here. This would technically be the breakout. So I'm just following up with you guys as we continue to follow this together. So if you guys are in this position, I do recommend moving your stop loss and profit at this moment. Maybe move it up to news price right here, because lots can happen right here. Kenny, I see your link right there for the Facebook link. Unfortunately, I can't click it because I have to log into my Facebook and I don't know my password. So if you have the YouTube link, I could look at it, or you just tell us what it is. But I see that link that you sent, Kenny. I tried clicking on it, but it's making me log into Facebook, and I don't have my login. I usually just have my auto login, but for some reason it's not saved on this browser. All right, so price is pushing up right here. If you guys are in this position, I do recommend move your stop loss and profit, right? So guarantee your position here. I'd move your stop loss and profit to news price right here. So you guaranteed profit no matter what. That's the reason why I'd move it to that point. So we're still following it here. Again, I'm not in this position. I'm just following it. There's just too many red flags here. Price was at news price. Price was at news price right here. So price broke through news price. The following candle over here was also at that point. It's just, it's a bit of a toss up. Thanks, Kenny. So Kenny sent me this link over here. See, the link says Reps Comer and Jordan hold press conference on investigations into Hunter Biden. Yeah. Hunter Biden. That guy has a lot of issues, but we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I think he was like making deals with like the Russians or something, or I don't know. He has a crazy life. All right, so right here, you can see price starting to retrace a little bit. This is why I recommend to move your stop loss in profit. If you guys want to pull out in profit, you can. If you guys want to hold on to it and just move your stop loss in profit, you can do that as well. Not in this position here, though. You can see that this is a problem with taking trades at news price. You get a lot of manipulation here. Price pushes up, fakes out, comes back down. And I mean, who knows? At this point, price can just swing right back up and shoot straight to TP, or price can just come, right back down. It's just an iffy trade because a lot of the higher time frames for a trend are bearish. So 4 hours bullish, but the 1 hour is bearish, 30 minutes bearish, 15 minutes bearish, and the 10 minute. So it becomes an issue here because you're kind of going against the trend here. So here goes, price pushes back up. It's not really a smooth move here at all. Typically for the breakout, it usually hits TP by now, within the first couple of minutes or so. Right here, it's starting to like bounce around. So we'll keep following it, but as I mentioned, I'm not in this position here. I'm looking for my own entry to take as we continue along. So let me go over here real quick and mark up news price. We actually have another news price right there. And then we have more news coming up right here at 6:40. It's in about 5 minutes. So thanks for this heads up right here. Kenny gave us this link over here for this news conference that's going on. It's a lot of back and forth movement right here. Check the 1 hour trend, still bearish. 30 minutes still bearish. 15 minutes still bearish. 10 minute also still bearish. So we'll see where this goes. The entry that I'm looking for is I'm looking for a retracement. So I'm looking for price to retrace a little bit. Once it retraces, I'm looking for the continuation back up. So once this position is done with, I will clean it up and I'll give you guys a markup of what I'm looking for. Or I guess I could show you here right now. It's not really a big deal. I'm looking for price too. So price is already pushed up right here. Oops, wrong tool. Yeah, so price is already pushed up right here. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for price to retrace exactly what's happening here. I'm looking for the continuation back up. So this is basically what I'm looking for at this point. Looking for the retracement, which is already happening right here. So if you guys move your stop loss and profit, you're probably out in profit already. If you close out close to TP over here, you're already out. This is exactly what I did not want to get stuck in, right? Because the problem with this position here, and I'll just put the stop loss back up if you didn't move your stop loss and profit. The problem with this here is that whenever you get close to these horizontal lines, you get movements like this, where price will come up, fake out, come back down. So main reason why I avoided this trade altogether. Looks like there was an SR rejection, possibly. It's just a messy area to trade in right now. But anyways, let me clean this up a little bit. I mean, the trade's technically still running. Just a lot of red flags. All right, news price right there. News price down here. Trade's still in profit. We have news coming up right here at 6:40. Actually, this is the Fed, right? Fed speaking right here at 6:15. I'm just going to delete that if that's Fed talk. Yeah, so it's not really actual news. So I'm going to delete this right here. I swear there was news down here, though. Did I accidentally delete something? So there was news at 5 and 5:30. This is 5. I think there was 2 news events at the same. 5:30 was right there. Okay. I remember there was something there. All right, so we have news coming up right here at 6:40. It's not really news, it's just the Fed speaking. So I'll I mean, I'll leave that up there, but I'm not going to mark up news price because there's nothing that's really being, announced specifically. There's no news release. All right, so the trade here is still technically running. We might get a position within it. So if we get a buy signal here, this is technically going to be a position. It's a high-low momentum scalp. So that's something that I am looking for. So if we get a buy momentum signal here, that's what I'm looking for, and that's what I'll be taking if I do see it. It just can't be touching, the news price right here. I need price to actually push up a bit higher. So we basically got a trade within a trade right here. I'll just move this over a little bit so I can clean it up. I just can't have this touching the news price right there. Sorry, if price retraces down a little bit, just can't retrace down that too heavy. Fuck. So unfortunately, this is a pending buy signal. This would be the entry right here, but it is okay. I'm hoping it doesn't close because I don't want it to close here because we can't take the trade. It's touching the news price, which is a red flag. Okay, so we have another candle right here. I want this to retrace down a little bit at least, a little further, touch the area here, not too far to this point, but just enough to reject off the structure here. Never mind. All right, so we just got to wait for it again, guys. Again, here it's touching the news price. You can see here that price kind of magnetizes towards the news price, right? This is why you don't want to trade around this area because you get caught. If you get caught on the wrong side, you get stopped out, right? Obviously, we're looking for buys here, but if price keeps spiking up and down, you got to keep in mind if your stop loss is 300 pips, you can easily get stopped out if price gets pulled back to this range, or not this range, but to the horizontal line right here. So breakout is still running. Unfortunately, we don't have any point of entry here yet. Again, another attempt right here. If price comes down, we got to make sure it doesn't come down and touch the news price right here. I want it to stay above. It's a little lower. Okay, price is now rejecting off it. If we get a buy signal here, this would technically be an entry for high-low momentum pivot scalp. Just can't let it come down and touch the news price right there. All right, so if you get a buy signal here, possible entry. It's going to be within the breakout, so it'll be a good confluence for us to follow. Got about 20 seconds. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, no signal. All right, so no entry off that, no buy signal. All right, here goes another attempt here. If we don't get an entry anytime soon, I'm just going to skip this, move on to the next one because price is starting to range. Ranging is not a good market condition to be trading in, especially if you're trading directional positions like this, because the last thing you want to do is get caught in a range, right? So I'm going to give it one more opportunity to provide a buy signal. If it doesn't provide a buy signal, I'm probably going to sit out and wait for it to actually move because it's not moving right now. It's just going sideways. We got about 20 seconds left on this candle right here. Hoping for a strong push. And it does not look like we're going to have an entry. All right, so I'm not going to take any entries here, guys. Even if we get a buy signal anywhere around this area, I'm not going to take it. It's just not a good area to trade in. Price is just going sideways. The breakout is still running. This has been running for a long time. Typically, the breakout hits within the first couple of minutes, but the breakout is still running right now. It's been running for 14 minutes now. It's a long breakout. Yeah, thanks, Peter. Fed Mester is speaking right now. So I think when he's done speaking, or if he says something That'll affect the market. It'll push price one way or the other. But at the moment, I'm going to sit out and just wait. There's really no opportunity for us to take any trades here. I was really hoping for a buy signal to close, but it didn't close. So unfortunately, no entry there. So let me go over here and just update this real quick. New zones. And you can see right here that price is just consolidating hard. I'm okay when price is ranging, but when price is consolidating, it's definitely a no for me, because it just opens up opportunity for price to really go wherever it wants to randomly. All right. Yeah, so not much going on here. I mean, it's still kind of just going sideways. Thanks, Maddie, for the heads up right there. Maddie said sentiment has changed a little bit. It's now 64% short. So I'll just update that a little bit right there. 64% short. Looking over here at the fundamentals, fundamentals are still down 200 points. So it looks like our breakout might finally be hitting. I mean, it's taking it long enough. Now I'll go ahead and just set an alert right here so we can. Actually, I don't even need to set an alert. It already hit TP. So if you took the breakout right here, guys, full TP. If not, it's okay. I didn't take the trade, so I'm just kind of waiting as well. Okay, this might be an entry right here for high-low momentum pivot scalp. Kind of broke out of the range right here. Uh, 15 seconds left on this candle right here. At about 10 seconds. Let's see if it closes. Gotta wait for it to actually close though. So it didn't close right there, unfortunately, guys. So no entry yet. Man, this market's kind of weird today. It's there's like it's like it sets up for an entry and then it kind of just pulls back. So unfortunately, no entry there. It would have been a good entry because it lined up with an SR rejection, also a triple confluence, but it didn't close. So we'll see for this next candle right here. I mean, price it kind of broke out of the range here, but not exactly. It's still kind of weak as it pulls back into the range right here. So unfortunately, no entry off that. Let's see if this candle here might close, but I don't know. It doesn't look like it's going to. If it closes invalid, I'm probably not going to take it because it's going to pull back into this range here. I don't want to be in this range. I want to be outside of it. So if it pulls back into here, definitely not going to mess with it. I'll give you guys an update here if you guys took the breakout. So let's give a little update in the group so you guys can pull out, because I know some of you guys, for some reason, like a lot of you guys don't pull out of your positions until I tell you it hits TP. And that's really important that you guys need to pull out because you know, it's really risky to hold on to it past 500 pips. When it pushes up 500 pips like that, it's due for retracement. All right, so just a little update there for you guys. A lot of profits over here. So let's see, Dejan over here took the trade, currently up 730 for the day. So nice work right there, Dejan. We got Scotty over here as well, currently up 2,710. Nice work, Scotty. We have some more profits over here, Maddie as well, currently up 660 for the day. Great work, Maddie. Got Patricia over here, currently up 6,299 for the day. Great work, Patricia. All wins, no losses. So she's done for the day. Let's see, Seth over here, Currently up 7,000 for the day. Nice work, Seth. All right, guys, nice work. You guys are killing it. So great work so far. If you guys took the breakout, looks like a lot of you guys did. So pretty solid work there. Still looking for an entry here. So there's no entry for us to take at the moment. We're still looking for that buy signal. The problem with this here is that price is in a range. This range isn't horrible. So if I do get a buy signal, I'll probably take it. Because the range here is a big range. It's not a small consolidation phase, right? It's actually pushing about 600 pips. So it's not like something tight where it's like just going back and forth 300 pips or so. It actually has a pretty decent range. The thing that we do have to look out for is the news price right here. So we need price to be away from news price so we don't get caught in any like unnecessary risk here. So with the new low establishing right here, this is going to be no longer valid. It's going to be this one down here. Let's see. Wesley said, does any feel like price wants to move back to where the pump happened at 32,570? Yeah, I mean, I could see that. 32,570 right here. Oh, sorry, 32 is lower. I don't think price will, well, I don't know, maybe. It's actually not that far. So let's see, I'll go an hour. It's easier to see. So you're talking about this one right here, right? The move right here, this was based off inflation news though, Wesley. So yeah, price is probably correcting back down. So it probably wants to fill this candle here that you just discussed. I can see that happening. Maybe not down to that area there, but it might be down to here. So you know where price is currently at right now? So this right here, I think this is too low. I think this is where price is supposed to be, right down here. I think this will be too low, but I think where price is currently at, this is where it wants to be at. Maybe a bit lower, but I think because you can see right here, this is the actual move. So if you go back a little further, price is actually around this area. Like this is normal area for it. This area down here is too low. So I think where it's currently at, it's at the higher point, but it might just start ranging or consolidating within this area because this is kind of where price was. Price was moving here smoothly. It pushed up, consolidated, retraced, pushed up, consolidated, retraced, pushed up, consolidated, retraced. And then now that it's a retracement right here, price can either go sideways for a consolidation or it can just push back up, right? So we'll see where this goes from there, but I think for the most part, yeah, I do agree. It could probably move down a little bit. I mean, it's in an area where, I mean, price can do a lot of things. But that's the thing. So like what Maddie said over here, it's luring traders in this range. That's exactly what it's doing. I think right now it's just going to range. So like looking on the 30-minute, you can't really see it here as much, but yeah. So here on the 15, you can kind of see it a bit better. Price kind of dropped a bit. Now it's ranging. So it's going to range a bit before it breaks out, right? Typically, if you look here at market structure, price will just range for a bit, break out, range for a bit, and then break out again. Either correction back to the upside or drop lower to where you were looking for, Wesley. So, I mean, a lot of things can happen here. This is the thing with US30. US30 is such a random asset, right? Anything could happen in the market and cause price to move kind of funky. So that's why I don't look at it on a long-term time frame. I typically look on the one because I want to trade within where price is moving. Like I don't really care what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't care what's going to happen the next day because anything can happen really. There's news almost every day. So if the news is enough to really impact the market, it's really going to push it. So we'll see. But yeah, I think it can go either way. See, Seth said, upon close of this 1 hour candle in the next 10 minutes, we could get a demand or supply zone. Can't remember which. Trying to push away from. Yeah, no, I can see that too. So Seth, let me go over here real quick to the 1 hour. Yeah, it can actually push up, Seth. So if this closes here, which it's going to close eventually, it's going to close in the next 5 minutes. This whole area here is going to turn into a demand, right? That's what Seth is referring to. So if this turns into a demand, when price pushes up, that's going to be, the direction from there. So this would be considered the demand zone. I mean, if you want to look at it on the shorter time frame, so this is the 1 hour demand. Here's the 1 minute demand. It's actually perfect. So this is where it started right here, Seth. It started right here. We had a buy signal and then price just skyrocketed up. So this is the actual demand from where it started. The 1 hour is just a bigger time frame for it. So I think this drop down is temporary. I think price will swing back up. If that's the case, you know what Seth just mentioned, price will probably eventually push up, you know, the next, I don't know, hour, 2 hour, 3 hours from now. So we'll have to wait and see where that goes. But I do agree with that analysis there. It's just that news price again, so it's not in a good area. Right here, I need price to push away. Move this back over here. All right, we need price to get away from this news price right here. It's just not a good area for us to be looking at. Lots of possible manipulation there. Looking over here on the clean chart, let me just clean this up a little bit. All right, not too much going on here. So it looks like price is trying to fill this big candle right here. So this is the supply on the, the supply demand right here on the 1 minute. Yeah. So we had the low over here, buy signal right there, price just skyrocketed. Now it's coming back down to fill this little candle right here. Once it fills a candle, we'll see if price ends up dropping lower, if it corrects back up. Thanks, Seth. Seth said sentiment is 65% short. So if that's the case, looks like it's definitely luring some sellers. So I think it's going to drop a little bit and it'll just skyrocket back up, stop everybody out as the number starts to increase. Let me go and mark up opening price. Thanks, Rashida, for mentioning that. I forgot to mark it up today. Opening price is right here. So the first target price point for price to reach is going to be the news price right here. This is going to be the first area. If it doesn't reach that point, then it's going to swing back up and retest this news price right here. So you guys can use these horizontal lines as like magnets. So they're basically pulling price to that point, right? If you've seen entry going that way, it's probably going to push to that next point. It's either going to push here. If it doesn't reach this point, it's going to retrace back up and reach this point up here. So if price reaches this point, next target price point is going to be opening price, which is what Rashida mentioned earlier. This is why it's important that you guys draw these lines up, because you can see that price really follows through. Like for example, here, price kind of broke above, tested this area, broke below, faked out, came back down. Now it's testing this area here. So, I mean, when you look at this from that perspective, you have basically two different scenarios, right? You have a 50-50% chance that price is going to move this way or price is going to move this way. One thing that you can use to increase your probability is momentum, right? If momentum is pushing down, price is probably going to come down to the next area. Otherwise, you know, you just have a toss up right there. Hey, Brock, morning. All right, so not much going on right here, Brock. I mean, you just made it just in time. There was a breakout this morning. I didn't take it myself. Looks like a lot of people here did take it though. So good profits for who did take it. Still looking around for some possible entries here. I'm also looking at the DXY for the 1 hour. I mean, everything's been moving kind of weird this week. DXY has been moving weird. Lots of consolidation right here. This is a 4 hour actually. Just trying to look at the 1 hour. Yeah, this thing didn't play out either. It's been ranging. I mean, you know, the time when to avoid trades is when price is ranging. So I was going to look at this trade here, but price has been ranging. So that's why I didn't take it. There's that sell entry right there. Price has been a range. Most assets have been ranging this week. Lots of sideways movement. US30 is still moving directional. So if this turns into a big range, this is perfectly fine. I don't mind trading within a big range like this. I just don't like when it's consolidating. So the range right here is pretty big. It's almost 1,000 pips. So it's got a ways to go. All right, price retracing down a little further. Man, there's not really much going on here. Looks like price is back into consolidation right here. So price kind of ranged and consolidated around this area. It dropped down a little bit, back into range down here. So again, as I mentioned earlier, there's still two scenarios here that can play out. Price can either go up, test that price structure there, or price can come down. All right. My guess is that price will probably come down and test this area here if it does push down. If not, possible correction back to the upside. Maddie mentioned there's a 5-minute demand at open price. So I'll go to the 5-minute real quick. Yeah, I can see it right there, Maddie. It's right open price right there. There's no momentum there, but I can see what you're looking at right here because the big candle right after it. That's like one thing that you guys can do too. I mean, there's like a ton of ways to identify supply and demand. The way that I could see it work easily on like the higher time frame, or not the higher time frames, but any time frame really, is basically if you look at a high or a low and then you see a big push from that area, right? So like for example, we have a low right here, big green candle, so this would be considered demand, right? It's kind of what Maddie saw. The other way of doing it is just identifying the low before momentum. If the momentum candle is touching it, this one's not touching it, so this would not be considered the demand. Like this one right here, we have a sell signal. There's a high right here. If you draw this at that point, you can see this would be considered supply because price started pushing pretty heavily after this point. And that kind of worked out perfectly right here, Maddie. So you're looking at this, the supply was right here. Price retested, came right back down from that point, double top off supply. So there's a lot of ways to identify it. I think the way I identify it's probably the most concrete way because it's not so subjective. The problem with a lot of other ways of identifying it is that it's very subjective. So there was an entry right here, but it was too close to news price, unfortunately. I don't know if anyone caught this. Did you catch that, Maddie? There's a high-low momentum right here, pivot scalp. It was just too close to the news price, though. So if anyone caught that, that was the move that I was looking for. It was just that it was too close to the horizontal line right here. I don't like trading near this area because you can see how price came up. It rejected like literally at the line, came back down. So if you guys are not familiar with that strategy, this is the main one that I'm looking to apply. This is a high-low momentum pivot scalp. Identify momentum signal. There's a buy signal right there. Draw a zone at the previous low right here, which would be considered demand. Confirm momentum is rejecting off the high-low zone. So this candle here is pushing away from the zone. Fourth requirement, confirm you're trading in the direction of trend. Trend over here is bullish, obviously. Pivots are angling up. Level 4 is on the bottom. Trend meter is green. Everything here lined up. The only main thing that I would have avoided was because of the news price right here. But yeah, this is pretty much the entry that I was looking for. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to take it, but if you guys took it, great work. So keep following. Don't worry, guys, it's only 7:04, so hopefully we get something at that before 8 o'clock. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for price to push back up, retrace. and continue. My entry is going to happen somewhere around this point here. Just can't touch the news price. Super slow move. Nice. Brock here actually caught it. So Brock's actually up 2004 for the day. Nice work, Brock. So solid profits. Yeah, Brock still got the entry near the news, the one you've been waiting for. Great work, Brock. So Brock's actually one of the people who caught it. So as you guys can see, even though I didn't identify it and I didn't take it myself, there's still people in the group who are just listening and following to this live session and catching the trade. So Brock here, spot on, took the trade, full TP. So great work, Brock. Yeah, I mean, we're just waiting for another point of entry, but there's nothing for us to take right now. There really isn't much movement either. Price is kind of just going sideways now. It's so the range is getting tighter. We had this big range right here. Another high right there. And the range just got just that much tighter. Let's see. All right. There's not really much going on here. I mean, price is just chilling below the news price. We need to get above it though. That's gonna be our main thing. Buy is still bullish, so I'm looking for a buy here for the most part. We just gotta wait. Patience is gonna be real key here because price can't consolidate forever. It's gonna break out at some point. It's gonna break out above or break out below. And then once that happens, we'll be waiting for our entry. So just gotta give it some time. Let's see. Yeah, Zach, if you're here right now, I'll check my schedule after the live session. Set up your mentoring. So Tasha over here, nice work, Tasha. She's currently up 281 for the day. Had a couple wins, couple losses, more wins and losses though. So solid turnout right there. And pretty good consistency. Nice. All right, so price is finally pushing above. This is basically what we're looking for. Just hope it stays above. All right. Yeah, Maddie said, I think it'll push near previous high, create liquidity, then establish a low. Yeah, I can see that too, Maddie. If it stay above news price, you can see right here, price is having trouble staying above it. This is, again, see, this is another example why we don't trade at these red flags, which are these horizontal lines. There's a lot of fake outs that can happen here. So I wouldn't enter like right away if something closes above here because you can get a fake out like this. And this is why I avoid trades here in general. So looking over here, you can see every time price touched the horizontal line right here, you got a lot of uncertainty. Price came down, faked out, shot right back up. Price came down again, tested it like 3 or 4 times. You might have thought that price was going to, blast off from here, but price ended up coming right back down. It tested it about like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times right here. You'd expect by like, 5 or 6 times, price is ready to take off, right? It didn't do that. Price actually did the opposite, faked out, came below here. And then when people chased the sell, price came right back up. So you guys can kind of get a feel for like why we don't like to trade around this area. A lot of fake outs happen here. Again, right here, another fake out, right? Price gets near it. Once it gets near it, you really don't know what's going to happen next. So just something to be aware of when you're looking for entries here. So here we go as price pushes back down. I'm going to take off this zone down there. I guess I could leave this up for now. Leaving this up will just give you guys, like understanding of structure. What I could do here too is this is what I was doing before. So when I first created this strategy, what I was showing Maddie is that you can kind of draw structure on both highs and lows. It works good when they're kind of spread out. So like we have this area over here, it's structure from the bottom. Right here, we have the supply. And, as you can see, price move along. This is kind of where the range starts to move along. So I'll just leave this up here for visualization purposes so that you guys can see where price is ranging between. This kind of gives you the key as to where supply and demand is going to be established, right? So this could be established as demand because price actually pushed up from here. This right here is like a pending supply. So like, for example, here, if price comes down and continues to drop lower, then you can confirm that it's supply. If it doesn't and price breaks above, then this is obviously a false supply. All right, so we have a possible entry right here. This is a new demand zone right here, or I guess we consider demand or something like that. Price is actually not touching it though, so not exactly the entry yet. I need price to drop a little lower, but not touch the news price. So again, right here, this is unfortunately not going to be our entry. Nice, yeah. So Barack over here said, got it. Bounced off the green momentum, and he is done for the day with fewer trades, implementing yesterday's advice. Thank you, Sean. Definitely, Barack. So Barack here took another trade as price kind of bounced where he was looking at, and he locked in a total profit of 1,452 off that trade for a total profit of 3,456. So great work right here, Barack. You can see right here that you're taking smarter moves, and this actually helped you with making more profit than you made yesterday. And you actually took like 100 trades yesterday, right? Actually, you're close to it. You're about the same, 3,000. So you took like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 trades yesterday. Today, you took 3 trades and you made the same amount of profit. So great work, Brock. And solid work on following the advice that we discussed yesterday. So guys, if you guys have issues with trading, just, pop your questions in the chat. I can help you with whatever you need help with. Like Barack here had an issue with over trading, right? Took like 20 trades here, made 3,000. Today, he took 3 trades, made the same amount. Damn. So Barack said yesterday, he took a total of 23 trades. It's a lot of trades to take. It's better just taking trades with solid lot size and letting them run to like your prop target. All right, so possible entry right here, guys, for a momentum pivot scalp. Just gotta make sure it closes with the buy signal and it doesn't touch the news price right there. Got about 30 seconds left on this candle, so we'll follow it right here, see where it goes. Twenty seconds. So if it closes, I'll take it. 10 seconds there. You got to actually wait for it to close with the buy signal though. So don't enter early. Make sure you actually wait for it. And it does not close, unfortunately. So no entry there. That would have been a good entry too. If it closed properly, it would have been a good entry. Unfortunately, it didn't. So got to wait for it to come back. So no entry here yet, guys. Yeah, Jonathan said this market is playing around. It really is. This whole day has kind of been, it's been a game. A lot of close entries. So this would have been a really good entry. Unfortunately, it didn't close, but if it did, you can see right here, it would have hit TP. So this is all about discipline, guys. Like there's a lot of what ifs, right? Like there's a lot of opportunities here where you could have taken a trade and it would have hit, but you got to stay disciplined, because if you keep taking unnecessary risk like that, you're going to get burned at some point. So like, for example, down here, this was a entry. It was close to news price, so I didn't take it, hit TP. This one right here didn't close properly. If it did close properly, it would have hit a full TP. Unfortunately, we have a buy signal here, but it does not fit criteria because it's not rejecting off the structure here, which will be what we would consider demand. So, and you can see here that the demand is being established. So we basically identify this demand before it actually happened, right? Price kind of just established its low right here. We draw the zone here, and you can see price is starting to push off it pretty heavily. So it's going to establish it as demand. So that's the reason why I like identifying supply and demand this way, because you have a head start. You're not going to be right every time, but when you are right, you're going to have a big push from that point. So, you guys can identify supply and demand however you like. This is the way that I think is a more concrete way of identifying it. And it also helps with identifying, possible entries. All right, so price is starting to drop a little bit right here. Some more profits from Maddie. Maddie locked in a total profit of 1,245 for the day. Nice work, Maddie. So solid work right there. Sisuk, I just saw your message. Scotty over here as well. Scotty locked in a total profit of 4,005 for the day. Nice work, Scotty. He said he's finished for the day. So solid work, guys. You guys are doing pretty solid so far. Maddie said, might drop down, establish a low, also create liquidity on the top side. Yeah, I can see that too, Maddie. So as I was mentioning earlier, guys, I'll draw, when we get a high and we get a low, I'll draw the zones at those areas so that we can see if, this is going to be a demand where price starts to come right back down. Doesn't look like it here, but we'll just follow along, see where it goes. Yeah, let's see. Patrick also mentioned that there was an SR rejection scalp that hit. Yeah, so off that momentum signal right there, there was actually an SR rejection scalp right here. So that same entry that we were looking for, it aligned with a lot of different strategies. So there was an SR rejection scalp right here off that buy signal. Price rejected directly off it, buy signal, price pushed above. This could have been the buy right there, full TP. If this closed with the buy signal down here, this would have been, another entry. So there's a couple entries here that you guys can take. As I mentioned, I'm focusing on one strategy right now just to show you guys, consistency of just following one strategy. You're not going to get as many entries, but, you'll find a couple quality entries along the way, at least 1 or 2 entries, and you should be solid. So here goes, price starts to drop back below. I'm not really looking for sells right now, though, because the trend is bullish. So we'll see here if it establishes a new low. Man, it seems like the market's really been just, ranging a lot this whole week. So it's back into the big range. So the older range is right here. It's the same range from earlier. So this is the same range from this morning. The big range hasn't really moved much. It's just stayed within it. So this is why I don't care if there's a big range, because we can trade within the range. The only thing that I don't like is when there's a smaller range within it. This is where it becomes a little tricky. Price going sideways here, retracement, fake out, comes back up. All right, so this here is no longer considered the demand because there's another high here that's getting established. So you can see right here, we identified this supply before any of this happened. I already marked this up a long time ago, price pushed away from it. This is now established as a solid supply zone. And we did all that real time. Let's see, Rashida said a 10-minute daily. If you guys took the daily yesterday, it did hit TP, right? I think we marked it up or something. I don't know what I marked up here. I marked up something here. I just can't remember what or why I marked it up. But I mean, if you took the daily yesterday, I think the daily actually came up over here. Yeah, so the daily came up yesterday, but it took, I mean, a really long time for it to hit. It took about 17 hours. It's a long time to hold a daily entry. This shows you that there's not much movement in the market, right? 1,500 pips is not a lot of, it's not a lot of movement. So yesterday there wasn't really too much movement at all. It took about an entire day for it to hit. You don't want to be in a daily like this because, I mean, a lot can happen between now and then. So here's another daily right here that's currently running. I'm not going to take this as a daily. I'm going to take it as a confluence. So I'm looking for buys anyways. I'll just trade within this daily entry here. The reason why I don't really like taking this right now specifically is because the long-term bias or overall bias is still bearish. So looking over here, I'm going to copy this over to this over here. And you can see that everything is still kind of bearish. So that's why I'm a little iffy about taking this here. Because if you look at the requirements for the daily is, and you'd have to confirm the overall bias. So, I mean, long-term bias is fine. So you can see right here, retail sentiment is 65% short. So this is okay to take buys. The only problem here is that the fundamentals don't align and the technicals don't align either. So this requirement here isn't technically met, overall bias. So I'll use this as a confluence, but I'm not going to take that specific trade. Back over here on the 1 minute, not really much going on here. Price is still kind of going sideways. So price goes up, sideways, goes up, sideways. We kind of want to wait for this to retrace a little bit so that we can find better entry point. Talanji said he took the both 3-minute and 10-minute. 3-minute was on neutral trend though, so risky. Alexander's asking about the 10-minute daily. So I just kind of went over right now, Alexander. For this right here, it doesn't meet the requirement. So I'm not following the trade. I mean, I'm following the trade, but I'm not taking it. You need to confirm the overall bias, right? Right here, retail sentiment is okay for a buy. Fundamentals are not okay for a buy. Short-term trend here is kind of mixed. So there's no overall bias right now. It's pretty mixed up. This could really, it could go either way. It can either go up and hit TP or can go down and hit stop loss because there's no real direction. Looking over here at the fundamentals, they're starting to weaken a little bit, but there's still 190 points in the red. No, you're fine, Alexander. I know you probably just missed it. Probably busy with the baby. So you're good. But yeah, you know, just a reiteration of that. There's no overall bias, so it doesn't fit the criteria there. Long-term direction is still bullish though. So, I mean, this could possibly hit. So like if this goes on forever, like yesterday, this trade went on for 17 hours for the daily. It shouldn't be running that long. It should probably hit within the first couple hours or so. That's just how slow the market was moving yesterday. For today, this can hit, but, you know, it might take a long time again. So yeah, no worries, Alexander. I know you're busy over there. Back to the 1 minute over here. I've drawn up the zone over here and it's kind of just consolidating. I don't know if this would be established as the demand. We have a new low here as well. So it's just become a whole big range at this point. Yeah, Rashida said there's a quick scalp right here, possibly available. I like the quick scalp, but I don't like it when the market's ranging like this or consolidating. Because the thing with the quick scalp is that if price is going up and down quickly, it's like quick, right? It'll hit your TP like in a second or 2 seconds. When it's consolidating like this, you might be holding on to that quick scalp for like a couple of minutes, and then you're going to start to get worried about the position. So I'm not taking the quick scalp right now. Not to say that it's not going to hit, but this range here is just a little too tight. So if you measure this candle right here, or just this range, it's only moving about 300 pips. So you don't really want to be in a position like that. You want to be in a position where it's like going up and down quickly. So when you enter that quick scalp, it spikes up, hits your TP in like a few seconds. Because your TP is not that big. I mean, it's this big. But when the candle is moving slow like this, you know, it becomes an issue. Like, for example, if you're taking a quick scalp over here, see how these candles, they just spike up and hit your TP right away. Like you don't even have to blink. You literally just take the trade, kind of goes down a little bit, shoots up, hits your TP. Same with this here, but it's just not as quick. Like if you took the trade right here, you're probably still holding on to it for a 100 pip move. It should have hit by now. Yeah, it did hit. So right there, I said probably going to end up hitting, and it did hit. So, you know, I'm not trying to discourage you guys from taking these quick scalps. I'm just trying to show you guys the risk that's involved when you're taking it when volatility is low. Because typically, yeah, you want these trades to hit right away. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said you just got to know when and when not to take it. Exactly. When volatility is high, it's great because whenever you get a low, it just blasts right up. Especially if the candle is big. So say, for example, you get a low, right? And it's a big candle. So for example, something like this, big candle with a red and it's a low. The next candle is going to blast up at least 100 pips pretty easily, right? It's gonna have that hit. So I think when you get a low, the bigger the candle, the better, because the retracement is going to blast right through your TP. So we don't got nothing going on right here. Price is just ranging. It's uneventful trading day again today. This kind of reminds me of yesterday. Yesterday was really, really slow. Today, let me see. Market opened here at 6:30. So market did move a bit. Not a crazy amount, but it did move. So market opened here at 6:30. Since 6:30, price is actually pushed up, you know, well over 1,800 pips, almost 2,000 pips. So definitely like double the move as yesterday. I'm identifying this right here as the supply. You can see price pushing away from it. This demand was not was a flop, so doesn't fit criteria. Still looking for an entry here. Let's see. Talanji's asking, do you have an expected TP stop loss parameters for the SR on the higher timeframes? No idea, Talanji. I don't trade that strategy on the higher time frame, so I don't really know. TP parameters. Are you talking about the SR rejection, Talanji? Just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing. Yeah, the SR rejection. So the thing with the higher time, like that strategy is meant as a rejection on the shorter time frame. So I don't know if it will apply even very well on the higher time frames. Let me just check real quick. I could probably just eyeball it real quick and see if there's a possible entry here. Yeah, so the problem with this here, this is the issue when you trade on the higher time frame, is that you're going to get a lot of entries and the zones are going to be a lot bigger. So the problem with this right here, Solange, is like, so you can see how like price, there's a couple entries here that could have came up, I guess. Like one right there. One right there. You know, if you're going to take an entry like this, I would probably just take the size of the candle. So like, for example, right here, if the candle is 300 pips, I would just do the size of the candle. Because it's kind of hard to gauge because the candles aren't always the same. Sometimes you get really small candles, sometimes you get really big candles. So again, right here, another one. At this point, I would just gauge it the size of the candle. So right there, 400 pips. I mean, that looks like it works fine. So that might be a starting point. I could figure it out. You know, if I just look around and I try to figure out what works and what doesn't, I can come up with something. But I think that's a good starting point for you. Just measure it from the size of the candle. And that's like for the 10. If you go on the 5, I think the candle might be too small. The problem with US30 is that it's hard to apply during like Asia sessions. So you can see right here, this isn't even Asia session. This is London's New York session from yesterday. See how price is going sideways? It's like impossible to catch any moves here because you can't even cover the candle move. Thanks, Peter. So there was news that just happened right now. News was neutral. So thanks for the heads up right there. Problem with this here is that we have news above now. So we have like a couple areas here where we can't really trade in. I'm looking for price to come down a little bit because I need a sell signal. We have the sell signal right here, but I actually want it to drop down a little more. Yeah, we need it to drop down a bit. It's just not a good spot for it. It's right at news price. All right, so let's see if price ends up pushing away from here. All right. So there's a possible high-low quick scalp again right here. I'm not taking it's right at news price, but I just wanted to show you guys. There was a wick that showed up down at the bottom right here. This would be a high-low quick scalp. This would be a buy signal, low, wick rejection right here, and continuation higher. It's probably going to hit, but it's like right at the news price right there. So as you guys can see, there's a lot of entries that you guys can take. You guys don't have to apply the high-low momentum. I just find the high-low momentum to be, you know, higher probable trades, easier to follow because you're basing it off the momentum signal. But there's a lot of other entries you can take. So if you guys remembered from before I started applying this strategy, there's a couple strategies we would apply, which would be the variation V1. There's actually a V1 right here too, V1 continuation. So there's a double body rejection right there, buy signal. This would be a V1 continuation. And it looks like it barely would have hit TP before coming back down. So there's V1 continuations, V1 variations, SR rejection scalps, and high-low quick scalps. Those are the main ones I was applying before. They can still be applied. It's just what I'm trying to show you guys here is, you know, consistency of applying one strategy. There's going to be days like this where market's kind of slow and you can't take any entries. There's going to be a lot of red flags where you can't take entries as well. You guys saw that there was 2 entries that we could have taken, but they, you know, they didn't meet criteria. So we decided not to take them. However, there's a lot of other strategies that you can apply as well. The main thing that I'm trying to show you guys is that less means better, right? You don't have to apply like 15 strategies and take all of them, because when you start doing that, you start to make mistakes. You start to revenge trade, you start to overtrade. If you just focus on one strategy, there's going to be some days where you don't have any entries, but at least you're not taking any losses. That's the main key, especially for you guys who want to trade on FTMO. Realistically, that's what FTMO looks for, right? They don't really care if you're making huge profits. They care that you're consistent, because they can't invest in you unless you're consistent, right? If you're like making big profits one day and then you're blowing the account the second day, you're not a good investment because you could lose them a lot of money. That's the way a lot of these funding companies go out of business. What happens is they pass, and then as soon as they pass and they get the funded account, they blow the account, right? I think that's like the biggest hurdle for funding companies. That's the main reason why I didn't want to do a funding company myself, because I initially wanted to, but then I started to realize the risk that it was involved. Because as soon as you start putting real money into someone's account, or you start trading a funded account, if they don't make it past the first month for the first payout, or say they make it past the first month, I can put it right here. So this is like the pitfall of funding companies, where funding companies lose when clients pass challenge, or when clients get funded. So like the thing with this right here, and this is something that a lot of people don't realize, the thing with this here is like, step one, client passes and gets funded. Step two, client trades careful, gets refund plus first payout. Step three, client blows count on second month. So what happens here is client gets refund and funding company pays payout. Next month, client blows 20K. Now funding company is out 20K, right? So they give you a 200K account, but realistically they're giving you a 20K account because that's what your max drawdown is, right? So say someone passes, they become careful, they get the refund, the first payout, then they blow the account the second month. Now the funding company is out 20K because they lost 20K off that trade or off that account. And then they also pay them back the refund and they get the payout. So, a lot of people think that the funding companies are not on your side. They kind of are if you're consistent. But yeah, this is like worst case scenario for funding companies. I think this is what happened with like funding talent, because if you guys remember funding talent before, they were letting people pass with like there was no trade minimum. So people could pass within a day. It's kind of the same situation with TFF. That's why I don't think TFF is going to be sustainable. I think they're going to blow their funds eventually because of this situation here. Like say, for example, you have like 20 people that do this. 20 people times 20,000. It's like 400,000. It's a lot to lose. So this is the main reason why I didn't want to do a funding company, because I'm actually teaching you guys how to be like consistent traders. But the problem is once you get over that hump, once you get funded, that's the that's real struggle, having someone consistent after that. Yeah, Maddie said they're just eating off the fees. FTMO eats off fees and consistent traders. MFF and all these other prop firms might not last. Yeah, that's why I stick with FTMO, because I know that they're doing it the proper way. They're actually, I can't say if they are or not, but I think they are copying trades off like the consistent traders, not necessarily people who make big profit, but they're copying off the people who are consistent every month. Let's see. Question from, Patrick said, I've been noticing no matter what our strategies, when the trend meter is solid, either green or red, the probability of the win is way higher. I know it's common sense, but there's times I jump into a trade and it's choppy green or red or downright blue, which end up winning most of the times, but I got to back test more. Yeah, no, exactly, Patrick. I agree with you too. Yeah, well, that's why I don't base everything off the trend meter over here, Patrick. I base it mainly off the pivots here, because you can see the pivots here, it's a lot smoother, right? When the pivots are spread out and they're angled up. So if you have pivot level 4 on the bottom and all the pivots are above and they're spread out, it's in a pretty strong uptrend. Same with right here, right? You can see how they spread out, red pivots on below. If you just identify this red pivot right here, which is level 4, if it's below all the pivots and it continues to move up, odds of it continuing to push up higher are very likely. Same with the other direction. When price is coming down, if the level 4 pivot is above and these are below and they're spread out, then this is likely to continue dropping. You can see the trend meter right here is like consistently red. I don't use this too much because you can see here how it shifts, right? It turns blue, red, blue, red. The trend meter is mainly used for like longer term trends. Pivots are more real time, while the trend meter here is more laggy. So that's why I use them both in conjunction with each other rather than just one or the other. Yeah, Patrick said, yeah, he loves the pivots too, even put the back pivots 1 and 2. Yeah, I think it helps a lot, because this gives you a better understanding as to like where the direction of price is going. So like you can see prices retracing right here, but I'm expecting it to bounce off one of these pivots and then just come right back up, right? All right, there's a possible entry right here, guys, for a buy. If it closes with the buy signal, and if it doesn't come below and establish a new low. So this, man, the market's been kind of weird lately. This candle over here, if it doesn't push too low, never mind, I take it back. There's no entry there. It would have been a possible entry, but not, because is the Fed speaking again? Let me check real quick. So Fed member Jefferson is speaking. He's probably causing price to move kind of weird. Yeah. So Messer is speaking at 640, at 740 right now. Jefferson's speaking. So pretty much same thing. There's a DXY entry right here. Yeah, I saw that one too, Maddie. Finally broke out of the range. So for the signals, guys, I was discussing with you guys yesterday. I think so. I need to find an asset that I just want to focus on, just like one asset. I'm kind of tired of looking at all of these pairs here because it's just too much work looking through every single pair. And then a lot of times you get these tricky moves. Like for example, our last trade over here, CAD JPY. This trade over here was tricky because it was going sideways. The JPY was going sideways, but the CAD was moving strong. Unfortunately, once we got to London session, it started to reverse. So I think what I'm going to do here is, I think most of you guys do have access to DXY. This is one of the assets, a dollar index. This isn't paired against anything, so it's easier to trade. It's kind of like US30, except this is based off the dollar. So like however strong the dollar is, we can take trades off this. I think this is going to be one of the main assets I'm going to be focusing on for the signal. So if this is an issue for you guys, just let me know. But I think basically every broker should be able to carry this, especially FTMO. I did see on FTMO, I think it's called DFX, or I forgot what it's called. It's like DX.F or something. But yeah, they do have this asset on FTMO. I just got to figure out, and it's under the futures category. I just got to figure out what the lot size would be. So I like trading assets that are not paired against anything else, right? The problem with Forex is that you'll see like they're paired against each other. So sometimes you'll see the AUD, which is strong, and you'll see the CHF, which is consolidating. If you have something like that, your trade might consolidate for like a couple hours, and then whenever one of these gets stronger, it's going to spike the other way, right? So that's the problem with the Forex pairs. It's just a lot more work that I feel is unnecessary. If you could follow just one asset, it'd probably be better. So I think the DXY over here is probably gonna be one of the good ones. So if you look at any entries here, there's a lot of entries here that come up. Not this one specifically, but there's a lot of entries here that come up, and they work pretty well. Like for example, right here. This is one right here. that played out a couple days ago. Full TP. Another one right here. Same thing. Full TP. And this just makes things easier, right? So that you guys can have a set lot size, set everything, where you don't have to really worry about it. It's just, pretty direct. So I think this is going to be one of the assets we're going to be looking at. I showed it to Maddie yesterday. Just trying to find something that's a little smoother. I mean, even gold maybe, but the problem with gold is lot sizes. I like nearly blew my account the other time because I traded it on MFF and the lot sizes are way different. Thanks, Maria. Yeah, so for the dollar index, it's dx.f in FTMO. So thanks for the heads up right there, Maria. Yeah, Maddie said he's going to figure out the lot size for gold because the strategy works good for gold and it works good for DXY, any of these like sideways assets. The thing with gold is that it's good too because for gold, it's based off gold. It's just paired against the dollar. So you're really just basing your entries off gold because these move opposite from each other. So if you were to find some entries here, you should be able to find some solid moves. I think this is the one Maddie was looking at yesterday. Just got to figure out which is okay. So like gold right there, full TP. There's a whole bunch here too. So yeah, we'll probably stick to gold and then maybe DXY because I don't really care for these Forex pairs as much. I used to, but for Forex, I think Forex is good to trade on the 4-hour, but on the 4-hour, these are like humongous moves. This is a small move because it's odd CHF, but if you're trading something like odd USD, like for example, this one right here, right? This would be an entry for odd USD. It's a huge move, unless we set a cap to it. I think one thing I was talking to Maddie about was like just setting a cap for these Forex trades because, I'm not going to hold a trade for 300 pips. It's out of the question. I think 150 is like, okay. But it doesn't meet the strategy requirements. So might cap it at like 150 because it does work well on Forex too, but it's just figuring out that sweet spot. So, all right. Other than that, back to US30, there's nothing for us to take right here. We have a low established. It's a V1 body running right now, Maddie mentioned. There's a V1 variation right here that's currently running. I'm not in this position, but it's one that Maddie mentioned. So Jenny's asking, what about other indices? Well, we could try it wouldn't really make sense for us to trade other indices because we're focused on US30 during New York session, right, Jenny? So, we technically could, but, maybe we could. Let me see. It's just going to be kind of difficult because our main focus is US30 during the live sessions. The thing is, a lot of these entries come up the same direction as US30. So like, for example, if you're looking for something here for, say, NASDAQ, I got to figure out the sweet spot is. Which prop firm are you using that doesn't have DXY? Are you sure it doesn't have DXY, or just because it might be located under a different category? Most funding companies should have DXY. It's like it's a staple. Which one are you using, Jenny? Okay, so TFF doesn't have it. Yeah, I haven't really checked the TFF. Let me check real quick. The thing with, so the problem with a lot of these other companies is that they do have it, but they call it something else. It's not called DXY. They just call it like dollar or something. Let me check. True. Let's see. I had a feeling it was going to be something like TFF or they don't have a list here. I'll have to check later, but yeah, it's weird. The website doesn't even have a list of assets that they carry. Yeah, I'll have to log into my account, but I don't have my login with me right now specifically. I try to pull up the website to see if they have a list of assets that they allow, but I don't see it here. Yeah, it's weird that they don't carry it because yeah, so I'll have to check with you guys on that later. I think TFF's like the only funding company that doesn't show their asset list. It's all good though. All right, so back to what we were looking at here, guys. Price is starting to shift to the downside, so I don't know if we can take a buy here. We might have to look for a sell. The only problem is that it's right at news price again. 751 right now. But yeah, back to what Jenny was saying. So there's no reason for us to really look at any other indices. I mean, other than NASDAQ. NASDAQ might be one of the thanks, Maddie. So Maddie actually he reached out to TFF support team. They don't have DXY, which is weird. I wonder if MFF has it. Yeah, so I mean, if that's the case, we'll probably just use gold as the other alternative. I mean, I'll still look for Forex trades. It's just for Forex, I got to stick on the 4 hour because there's too much noise on the 1 minute. And there's just too many news events. So like it makes it impossible to take trades on the 1 hour sometimes. So I'm going to work on that. Meanwhile, I'll still call Forex trades, but we're going to look for, gold trades and possibly DXY. Or something that's not pegged against anything else. I'll probably look through the asset list for TFF and MFF, and I'll see what's not, what is not pegged against another asset. Or I might just stick to something that's like major, like GJ, AU, and then stay away from these smaller pairs, because there's just too many pairs to look at here. But yeah, back to what you're saying, Jenny. So we're not going to trade S&P because S&P is literally the same thing as US30. The only difference that we could possibly trade would be NASDAQ here. But the problem with trading this is that we're focused on US30. So I'm not going to go back between US30 and NASDAQ to look for entries, right? I mean, it does work well, though. I've seen other people apply it on here. So for example, there's one right here. It's just figuring out what the fixed TP stop loss is for this. Because you can do this where it's a 1-to-1, but then you're gonna have to figure out your lot size. I feel like if I do that with NASDAQ here, a lot of people are going to be over leveraging, right? Because you're gonna have to use different lot sizes per trade. I mean, it works well, but I don't have a fixed TP stop loss because I never trade NASDAQ. So yeah, Maddie said he's sticking to US30. Yeah. So that's like one thing that I need to also reiterate with you guys. You don't have to trade every single asset. You need to focus on like maybe 1, 2, or even 3 assets, and then master that. The thing is, if you keep adding other assets to your list, you're just increasing your risk for loss. So you're just overcomplicating it for yourself. Like you can make wins here on US30 with me, and then you trade NASDAQ on your own and you blow your account, right? Because that's the thing. A lot of people think more is better, but realistically less is better. Like for today, I didn't take any trades on US30, but I don't have any losses. Unfortunately, I was looking for at least one trade here, but I couldn't find anything. Another person could be looking for every single entry that they can come up with, and then now they're like negative 5% on their account, almost blown account for the day. So just yeah, Maddie said, so Maddie just had some input. He said, don't try and switch because you're not profitable for a couple of days. It's going to make things worse trying to trade other stuff. Yeah, and I agree too, Maddie. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that, right? I think if you guys just stick to US30 like I'm doing, you're not going to have trades every single day, but you're also not going to have losses. So we'll see. I mean, we'll figure it out. I'm still going to call Forex trades if I see them. It's just the market's not really moving smoothly this week, so I'm kind of taking it easy. A lot of the JPY trades we took this week were just a mess. Like for JPY, price was in profit, then it just spiked up due to news event last night. CAD JPY, same thing. So basically all the JPY pairs have been moving kind of weird. These major pairs here have been moving as well, more solidly, but there just hasn't been any entries. So yeah, one thing that Jonathan also mentioned was also don't switch strategies. Yeah, so that's the main thing that you guys should focus on. Focus on maybe 1 or 2 strategies, and then focus on 1 or 2 assets. Maybe one Forex pair that you really like, and then US30 with us during the live sessions. I think that'd be key. So I'll hang on with you guys for a little longer. I just want to see if I can find an entry here a little after 8. I typically don't wait until after 8, but today there just hasn't been anything. So I'll hang on the live with you guys for a little longer if I could find something. If we don't see anything and market starts to consolidate, then I'm just going to call it a day. But if price continues to move directional, then we'll look for an entry here. So now that price is starting to shift to the downside, we're going to start looking for some sells. This is what I'm looking for at this point. I'm looking for price to come below, retrace, and continue down. When price retraces right here, this is where I'm going to be looking for my entry. So I'm looking for at least like one entry if I can find one. So price stays below here. This is what we're looking for. Entry is going to happen some point around this area. Vice versa. If price swings to the upside, then we'll just do the opposite, right? So let's wait for this to play out here. So obviously nothing for us to take right now. Let's take a look at the sentiment. Sentiment is same, 65%. Fundamentals are back down again, down 270 points. So we might be setting up for a correction back to the downside. I just need price to get away from this news price. That's the main thing right here. It's supposed to be 8 o'clock. I'm just go down the pairs again real quick, see if I can find anything. 4-hour candle doesn't close for another 2 hours. I'll just set some up here, see if there's anything that's coming. Odd CHF over here already hit CP. So I think for these Forex trades, guys, I'll probably be sticking to the 4-hour. I mean, 4 hours is probably the best time frame to trade on. The only problem is that the range is so big. Like when you take a trade, your TP stop loss is going to be so wide that you'll be holding on to this trade for a long time, like a really, really long time. So that's where it becomes an issue, because we can't hold trades over the weekend, right? If you're taking these trades on FTMO, you got to close them before it reaches a weekend. And that's going to be an issue, because if I call a trade today and this trade doesn't move for like the next 2 days, you're going to have to close out either for a loss or for a small profit. So this is the main reason why I don't like trading Forex on a funding company. I trade it on a personal account, so I can just let this trade run to the weekend. All right, so there's no entries here. I was looking for some high-low momentum scalps. There's nothing here on any of these on the 4-hour. Let's go down to the 1 hour. Still kind of wary about these 1 hour entries because of price movement. Odd CHF, this hit full TP as well. All right, Maddie. Yeah, so Maddie said it's almost 8 o'clock, so he's logging off. I'll be on for a little bit longer, guys. I want to see if I can find something here. So there's a CHF JPY position, but as I mentioned earlier, JPY has been moving really weird. There's an entry here that's coming up. This is probably gonna go sideways for a little bit before it reverses. It's kind of what's been happening. I got burnt with 2 JPY trades this whole week. This is kind of annoying. Price will it'll go in profit. It'll go up a little bit, consolidate. Then around midnight, like 6 hours later or 12 hours later, actually, price will just go up and hit your stop loss. So I'm not going to take this trade. I'll follow it, but I'm not going to take it. Back to US30, still no moves here. Price is going sideways. I'll go over here to the clean chart. Price pretty much knocked out all this liquidity already. And established a new range. All right, so the range is still going right there. Not really much going on here. So this is what I'm going to be looking for, guys. I'm going to wait for price to push, one direction or the other. If price doesn't end up going in any direction, I'm just going to call it a day. But I'll hang out with you guys for a bit. Price is going sideways right now. But I'm still looking for an entry here. So I want price to break out of this range, push up, push down, wherever it wants to go. And I'm going to look for a high level momentum. First high level momentum I see, I'll take it. And we'll be on with our day. There's another high level momentum that came up right here. Unfortunately, we couldn't take it because it was right at the news price again. Man, this has been happening all day today. There's been a lot of entries here, but they're at news price. So we have this low right here. Buy signal that came up right here. This would have went straight to TP. That's why I hate when there's a lot of news on one day, because it's either a good thing or it's either a bad thing. It either causes too many red flags or it just gets in the way. See, Alexander's asking about 10-minute. No, so there's no daily anymore for this. Alexander, once you have one entry here, so like say, for example, you have one that's running. If this isn't valid, then there's no entry for the day. So this one right here came up. It didn't fit criteria because you're not going to have another first valid momentum signal. Yeah, unless you're talking about the intraday, what Patrick just mentioned, Alexander. Then if that's the case, then yeah, possibly intraday. But for the daily entry, this strategy is based off the first valid momentum, right? So the first valid momentum already came up right here, but it didn't fit criteria. So there's no daily for the day. So this one right here would technically be the daily if everything lined up. But for the reason that number 2 here is not met, there's no overall bias, this right here wouldn't be the daily. So if that's the case, then there's just no daily for the day. If you're doing the counter trend trade though, so this is one thing that you can do, Alexander. I don't know if you were around when we were going over this. This is one thing that I think John mentioned. It's the 10-minute. I don't think we put the requirements up in counter trend. So basically for this right here, for the counter trend, since everything here was bearish, you would have taken the sell instead of the buy. So everything's based off the first momentum signal. So this is the first momentum signal right here. You're either going to apply the normal strategy here if everything lines up with the bias. However, if this doesn't line up, you can take the opposite. So instead of taking the buy there, you have taken the sell at this point, and then you'd now be in profit. Right. Does that make sense, Alexander? Because there's 2 ways of applying it. Like everything is based off the first momentum signal, but it's either it lines up and there's no entry and you just don't take anything, or if you want to take the opposite, you would take the opposite. Yeah, it's the same thing. You take the opposite. But you wouldn't base it off the second momentum, because for the daily, it's just based off the first momentum signal. Whenever you get a momentum signal like this, price is either going to go one way or the other. So this basically sets the it sets the direction for the day. So like say, for example, right here, you see this entry. Market opens over here at 6:30. Once the market opens right here, you're basically just looking for the first momentum, because this is going to tell you where price is going to go for the day, right? If you have a buy signal there, okay, price is either going to go up, or if this is against the bias, then price is probably going to go down. So since this doesn't meet your criteria here for the first one, you skip this trade. And you're like, okay, there's no entry here. But if you really want to take the trade, price has to go one way or the other. It's not just going to go sideways forever. It's going to go up or it's going to go down. So if you want to take the chance here and go opposite instead of going for the buy, this is where you'd make the entry. And the reason why we have this here is because long-term is bullish, so long-term is bullish, moderate fundamentals are bearish, and then the trends are all bearish. So that's why you might want to take the sell. If you took the sell, you would now be in profit. So that's how you would apply the daily. There's two different ways to apply it. It's either you skip it or you take the opposite direction. All right, back to the 1 minute over here. Man, so it looks like we're back into a range, guys. So I don't know if we're going to have any entries today. I was hoping we're going to get some movement, but there's just no movement here, at all. Even if we get a sell here. So this is one thing that I'm looking at. If we were to get a sell entry over here, which we're probably getting, the problem with this is that it's right at the news price again. So even if I wanted to take a sell here, it's not really possible, right? You have the high there. If I was to take a sell, it's going to be too close to the news price. And it's not going to provide any ability for us to take the entry here. Jonathan's asking, what's the TP size for FTMO? Is it? Are you talking about on the FTMO trade manager, Jonathan? Or are you talking about the DOM? It's 1,000. If it's neither 10 or 100. It's 1,000 because you're going for 100 pips, right? But typically it's like 100.0. Since you can't put a point in the DOM, you just add a 0 to it. So it's like an invisible dot. So you actually got to put in 1,000 for that there. Oh yeah, you're using Henko. Yeah, Henko is different. I don't know. I haven't used yeah, I think they go by points. So Henko is a bit different. I mean, all of the brokers are, they're a little different. So I think they go by points. That's why they use 10 instead of 100. And FTMO uses pips. So they use 1,000 instead of 100. Or it's technically 100. All right, so let's give this another go, guys. So I'm going to hang on with you guys here for a little longer, and we'll see if we can find a buy here. Price is pushing above, so it's pushing away from news price. I'm going to see if we can find something here. I need price to push up, retrace, provide the zone. So I need price to push up, retrace, provide the zone down here. Get the buy signal. And then ride that up. So I'm just hoping price starts to move a little more. It's not really moving too much here. If it stays in a consolidation or a range, then it's just there's no room for entry here. So it's 808 right now. I'll hang on with you guys for a little bit longer. Just want to try to squeeze one in, but I mean, this whole market today's kind of been trash for the most part. So there's been movement in price. It's just a lot of red flags here. So market opened here at 630. Price is currently up 1,000 pips. So it's not really that much. Typically by now it'd be up like, at least 1,500 pips if so. Yeah, not really much going on here. I was hoping price was going to push up a little more. Possible entry here for a sell. So there's a sell entry right here for momentum. I got into it, luckily. I had to close out of it early though. See where it's at. Oh man, I can't even get into it. I tried to click on MC4, but it didn't execute. Let me see if I get in right here. My MT4 is lagging. Is anyone's lagging? I just want to make sure if it's not just me. I don't want to click it again because I clicked it once. It didn't fill my order. And then I don't know if it says loading on my MC4. See, entry point is right here. Yeah, C6 hit. Yeah, don't click it again. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it alone. See if it fills. It's still saying loading. I don't know what's up with my MT4. Just watching it. All right, if you guys are in the position, you should probably close out in profit because it already hit TP. I'm gonna have to turn off my MT4 and turn it back on. Yeah, C6 said last week he clicked it three times and it entered it for him 3 times. He turned it off and turned it back on. I'm gonna have to reset my MC4. So if you guys are in the position, it already hit TP, so make sure you close out in profit. The way that the market's moving here, it's kind of ranging back and forth, so it's a risky time to be trading. I don't know if mine filled or not, or if it even hit my TP. I hit sell on my MC4 and it just froze up on me. It's been saying loading this whole time. So just make sure you guys close out in profit if you guys take the position. You have to base everything off TradingView over here because MC4 is not necessarily gonna. Hey, MC4. I'm hoping there's gonna be it's called. I'm hoping that there's gonna be a platform or hopefully FTMO will end up switching it over to TradingView because I think they should. TradingView is like the platform that everybody uses. So it would make sense for them to have that. Fucking finally did it. You guys hear that clip? I had it went through. Man, what the hell? Gave me 410, whatever. I was trying to that was weird. Did you hear that? Because it didn't make the noise when it entered, but then it made the noise when it closed. My volume's been up the whole time. I mean, it hit TP, but it only closed me out at. Man, this is so annoying. All right, so my main FTMO locked me 410. My copier locked me in -40. Fuck. I hate MC4, but whatever. That's weird. Let me take a screenshot. So that's annoying. Like my volume's been my volume has been loud. So when I hit sell, it should have did like the little entry noise. Didn't do the noise. It finally updated, and then there's slippage. Whatever it is, what it is. So I mean, I made 410 off my main one, and then -40 off my copier. Let me show you guys. Yeah, I don't get it, but I might have to just restart my computer. I haven't, so it might be my problem because I haven't turned off my computer in like maybe like 6 months. So it might be my problem. I have to restart my computer. My computer's been on for a long time. So if you guys took it, great work. It hit full TP. Yeah, I'm blaming MT4, but it's probably my fault because I haven't turned off my computer since like summer or since my last vacation. And scalp entry about my MT4 froze. Main account. All right, so here's my account. So here's my main account right here. I locked in 410. It should have been 1,000 because it blasted right through it. Like it literally shot right through the TP. So I don't know why it gave me the thing that throws me off is it gave me -40. I don't understand this right here because it should have fixed it. I mean, not fixed it. It should have locked out with at least some profit, but it's all good. I mean, it's only $40, so whatever, $40 is $40. Seth over here is currently at 14,000 for the day. Nice work, Seth. So huge profit right here on Seth's account, 14,000. Solid trading day for you. Patrick over here as well. He said he's going to call a day, locked in 1,986. So great work right there. It looks like you hit your full TPs for 2 trades. So great work right there, Patrick. For me, 410 minus 40, guess I'm up like 3 something, like 370 for the day. So it's all good. I mean, it is what it is. I'm gonna go reset my computer after this. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, let me check the chat real quick, see if there's anything else for us to look at. There's no entry right here. This momentum is not rejecting off. It's also in a sell bias, so no entry there for a buy. Let me scroll over here real quick. Gotcha. Yeah. So Jenny said she had to restart her computer the other day for the same reason. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Charles said to delete my logs. Thanks, Charles. I'm going to do that after this too. Peter said restarting your computer flushes out the random unimportant data, slowing down your computer memory and stops background tasks from happening. Reboots keep computers running quickly. By flushing the RAM and clearing temporary files, your computer runs faster and more efficiently. Yeah, no, definitely, Peter. I should do that. I don't know why I don't restart my computer because I'm not even on the computer all day anymore. Or actually, I kind of am because I'm calling Forex trades for you guys now. But yeah, I have to restart my computer, or actually, I'll shut it down today because I haven't shut down my computer since my last vacation, which was, I can't remember, when was it? September, I think. Yeah, when I went to Hawaii. So probably best time. All right, guys. So I think that's it for today. Unfortunately, we only had, well, I mean, fortunately, but unfortunately, we only had 1 trade today. There was a lot of entries here that came up. There was like 3 or 4 buys that came up fitting our criteria for the entry. However, they were red flags, which were the news price over here. But, as I mentioned, if you guys wait and you guys are just patient enough, there's an entry right here or down here somewhere where it came up. There was an entry right here. Entry right here. There's a lot of entries here that came up, but we couldn't take them because they were at red flags. But if you were patient enough, you can see for this entry here that we took, it was in a sell bias. Red pivot was on top. All the other pivots are angling down. That's why I took this trade here. If you're patient enough to wait for this entry to come and you just waited, you know, you'd be in profit for the day. Just one trade. It's one trade, but you're still in profit a good amount. Like I was supposed to make 1,000 for the day. Unfortunately, I ran into some issues here. But you know, it's all part of the game. Price came down, basically almost hit TP, retraced up a little bit, came down, blasted right through TP. So as long as you guys are patient and disciplined, if you guys could lock in one or two of these trades a day, you'll be on your way, right? You just make a X amount of profit. If you're on a 200K account, I'm making about 1,000 per trade. If you're on a 100K account, you're making about 500 per trade. You know, you do that per week and you just do the math. It's not that difficult. Like for example, if you're doing 1,000 a day, you're taking just one trade a day and you don't lose, you're making about 5,000 a week. You know, 5,000 a week times 4 weeks, that's 20,000 a month. 20,000 a month times 12 months in a year, you're making 240,000 a year, right? This is gonna be for just one trade. If you're taking 2 trades a day, you know, you do that 24,000 or 240,000 times 2, you've doubled up, right? You add more accounts to it and you just keep taking more and more trades, or you take the same trade across different accounts. If you're on a 100K account, and I'm going to show you, like, it doesn't matter like what account size you're on, like you're going to make less profit, but you're still going to do pretty good. If you're doing a 100K account, you're taking one trade a day, you're making 500 a day times 5 to 2,500 a month, a week times 4 months in the month. That's 10,000 a month times 12. And you're still doing pretty good. If you're just trading with me in the morning, taking one trade a day with me and, you know, barely losing if ever, this is where you'll be. And then you start to move on to bigger accounts, you start taking multiple accounts, and then this just continues to multiply. So like, for example, for me, I'm taking like 6 accounts, right? So I'm doing 1,000 maybe per 6 accounts times 6. And, you know, we'll just make this a little more realistic. So instead of 6 accounts, we'll just say maybe 2 accounts. So 1,000 times 2 times 5 times 4, 40,000 a month times 12 months in the year, it's 480,000. So just keep that in perspective, guys. Long-term goal, you know, consistency, that's really what it is. If you can make 1,000 a day, you're pretty much solid. So you add that up, and as long as you don't screw up and you just sit on the live sessions with me every morning, you can make a pretty good amount of profit off this if you're consistent. The main problem with a lot of people is you'll make profit with me in the morning and then you want to keep trading. Like I'm off at 8, but you want to keep trading till like 10 or 12, and then you end up losing. So you end up every day in the red instead of ending every day in the green, like I do most of the time. So just, you know, keep that in mind. Yeah, Jenny said, let's be realistic. 3 prop firms at 400K, each percent to, yeah, exactly. So if you do that, so like say, for example, if you have a 400K account, right? And you do 2%, that's 8,000 a day. That's a lot, like per day. And then you do that like 5 days out of the week. I mean, this is being optimistic though, right? Not everyone's going to do 2% a day, but if you were to do 2% a day, multiply that by 5 days in the week, that's like 40K a week. It's a lot. So just, you know, keep that in mind, keep the long-term goal in mind. You know, when I revamp the course, I'll go over this more in detail. I'll show you guys how to run this as a business like I do, so that you guys can, you know, maximize your tax benefits, like buying a new car, like I do every 2 years. So for business. So, I mean, other than that, guys, I think that's about it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will catch up with you guys later. I'm gonna look for some Forex trades in a little bit. If I don't see anything, we'll just hold off. The market is kind of weird for Forex this week. It's not so great. Same with US30. Price has been going sideways for a bit. So there's not too much for us to really take. So I think we're going to pick back up tomorrow as we wrap up the trading week. It's been a great week for Forex so far. No losses. I mean, not Forex. Forex, not so great week. We're maybe down like 1 loss, I think, or 2. But for US30, no losses. So it's been pretty solid. But other than that, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'll be back here tomorrow, same place, same time, as we close out the trading week for November week 2.